Having a right means you get to choose about certain things. A right to your life means you get to choose what that life is to be devoted to. Right to your freedom means that you get to choose the actions that you will undertake. The right to your property means that whatever belongs to you, you get to distribute and allocate, and not other people. This is what rights are about. And basic rights, the ones that Locke identified as natural individual rights, supposedly identify a realm of liberty that is supposed to be respected by others based on the sheer single fact that you are a human being living in a community. That alone, that you're a human being living in a community, is supposed to generate a certain set of rights for you that other people must respect and that the legal authorities supposedly must protect. This is the point of law in this tradition of political thinking. The point of law is not to spread empire, not to conquer other peoples, but to provide people with the protection of their liberty, their rights. And this is how one comes up with the notion of rights, seeing individual human beings as self-governed, as sovereign. The term sovereignty is usually associated with the governance of countries or nations. You say this is a sovereign country. Well, it means something like the people of that country generally had a hand in forging the laws, the public policies of that country, so they are engaged in self-governance. But underlying that notion is the prior notion that the people themselves are self-governed and that nobody governs them, at least not while they are adults or while they are intact. Obviously, there are some exceptional cases of people who are invalids who can't possibly, because they don't have the capacity, to govern themselves. But apart from those exceptional, extraordinary cases, the general idea is that a human community is populated by a bunch of us who all have sovereignty, who all are self-governors, and that other people don't get to govern us unless we give our consent. So that you can, go join an orchestra and put yourself under the direction of a conductor, but first you have to join the orchestra. The conductor doesn't go out on the street and conscript a lot of violinists, and say, you will play in my orchestra, no matter what, unless you live in a dictatorship or in a totalitarian country. And indeed, one of the interesting features of the Soviet Union was that very early in a child's life, public authorities went around to schools and designated children as destined to have a certain career. And nobody bothered to ask them about whether that's what they wanted to do. I must say that here I have a little bit of personal history, because I was raised in a communist elementary and high school in Hungary myself, and my choices about my destiny were of no consequence whatsoever. This was all done by public authorities. This is one of the reasons that eventually people tended to rebel against that, because they didn't see their humanity being respected, humanity consisting in large measure of running your own life, of judging what is right and wrong for yourself. Again, judging what is right and wrong for yourself doesn't mean subjectivism in ethics or relativism. It means only that whatever is right, however objectively it is right, you must still choose to do it of your own free will. That's the only sense of doing it for yourself, not the sense that you select the morality that you follow. That's a separate issue, but I just wanted to put that on the record. Anyway, so getting back now to the situation of Germany and many other countries which clearly act in defiance of the fundamental tenets of a doctrine of natural individual human rights. Other people get to decide what kind of speech is to be protected and what sort of speech is supposed to be banned. Why not you? Who are those other people? That's a sort of natural reaction. Apart from the massive philosophical apparatus that someone like John Locke comes up with, there is just, at least today, the common sense to respond, who are these people telling us what we may or may not say or think or write? What is it with these folks? Where do they get this idea that they have the authority to tell other people that they may not say something if they indeed believe it and want to say it? It's another thing to say they may not enforce their views on other people, because that is a protective measure. If you have authorities in a legal system who prevent other people from invading other people, that's like a bodyguard who simply protects the person against assault from others. And that is understandable just because self-defense is understandable. But this does not justify being defended against other people saying and thinking and writing stuff. That is not a form of assault. And this is one of the reasons that I'm emphasizing this from the very beginning. The talking, the writing, the thinking that is being banned in these legal provisions, in these constitutional provisions, is not a form of aggression. It is a form of objectionable behavior, but not aggression. And objectionable behavior does not deserve the kind of treatment in the law that violent behavior deserves. And it, again, just to re-emphasize, treating objectionable thought and writing as if it were violence kind of confesses the weakness of the system that you're trying to protect. That system needs to be protected by good arguments, not by force of arms. If I believe that libertarianism is great, and you think it sucks, which quite a few people do, as a matter of fact, through my experience throughout my 40 years of being a libertarian, a lot of people think that my libertarianism sucks. But they don't get to prohibit my advocating it. They get to argue with it or criticize it and writing the reviews of my books that say this book sucks, you know? Instead of saying, call up the cops, put Machan in jail because his ideas suck, you know? You know what the word suck means? Is that a fairly well-known English term? Okay, I love it. It just sort of expresses in a forceful way that it's a lousy thing. Okay? So just because something is a lousy thing, because it sucks, it does not justify suppressing it by force. And this is something that is universally enough ascertainable, and it indeed has a lot of defenses for it, not just this John Locke-oriented natural rights tradition, but also certain more practical, utilitarian, progressivist notions whereby without the freedom to think even bad thoughts, you rob yourself of the opportunity to benefit from good thoughts, from innovative, unfamiliar, good thoughts. One of the requirements of a dynamic society where art, science, culture flourish is that you don't stop people from thinking freely, no matter how objectionable their thoughts may be. And this is one of the reasons that I believe that these apparently innocuous prohibitions in the German law and in the laws of many other societies that treat human beings in a paternalistic way, as if the legal authorities were your